My name again is Veleta, and it's very rare that we get the opportunity to come together and discuss issues that affect us directly as women. So to have you all here makes me so happy, and I'm so excited that we get to share in this experience together. My company, The Mark Leader, likes to highlight great leadership through stories. While I was on this journey of documenting stories, and some of you in here, I documented your story, and I'm not done yet. I've learned that I developed a love for a great comeback story. So it got me thinking. Comeback stories inspire us, they give us hope, and they allow us to believe again. They represent resilience, second chances, and new beginnings. So how do we take a setback and make it our comeback? I'm going to talk about a couple people that I know that you guys know, but you may not know the setback that they had to endure while we watched them on TV, while we heard or read about them in magazines. So I don't need to explain who Oprah Winfrey is. We all know what she's done for television, how she's made us look at spirituality, how she's made us look at ourselves differently. But what I'm not sure if you know, and I remember being a little girl watching this, in 1995, Oprah had a cattleman on her show turned vegetarian. And they proceeded to talk about the dangers of beef. In this series, they mentioned mad cow disease and a couple other things. They laughed a little. Oprah did what she did. In 1998, Oprah found herself on trial. She was on trial in Texas. This was called the mad cow trial. This is January of 1998. Oprah had to pick up and take her syndicated show from Chicago and move it to Texas. Now, when I was a little girl, I remember thinking to myself, why is her background different? Because my grandmother and mother had to watch Oprah. I was like, why is that blue backdrop back there? And now as an adult, I know that when you're going through something like that, you can't speak about it. So she just upped and moved. We didn't know why she was in Texas. Oprah got up every day. She went to court. She defended her freedom of speech. And then she went home every night and recorded a show for us, for our mothers, for our aunts, to remind us who we are, to remind us about our spirituality. Later, when she got to speak about that experience, she said it left her depressed, it left her defeated. She was quarantined, she couldn't speak to anyone. She spoke a lot about leaning on Maya Angelou, the late great Maya Angelou, and she also spoke about Dr. Phil. Those were her two people she had on speed dial. And the one thing that they said to her, get up, take it one day at a time, and just do what you do best. Just do it again. Just worry about today. In February of 1998, 12 jurors found Oprah not guilty. This is that picture. She came home to Chicago, and she ran her mouth as she does. She talked about everybody in Texas. And I remember it. I remember every episode. Oprah had two choices, you guys. Either she could let it get the best of her. She did not have to get out of bed. She had to go to court, but she didn't have to keep recording those shows. She could have gave in. She could have stopped. But she just did it one day at a time. And she tuned in, and she gave us what we needed. And she just put one foot in front of the other. The next lady I'm going to speak about, while we wait for the slide to come up, is, and I've started to grow very fond of this lady, Miss Martha Stewart. If you don't know who Martha Stewart is, I'm going to tell you this about her. She has created a $1 billion business living in her purpose. Cooking, cleaning, creating a great home, just being a homemaker. In 1985, Martha Stewart was running her own billion-dollar business. Amazing. She did it with ease and finesse because she was truly living in her purpose. 2004, a highly publicized trial that we all heard of and watched. Martha Stewart was convicted of conspiracy, obstructing justice, and lying to federal agents. Martha Stewart was sentenced to 5 months in federal prison. She also got 6 months of house arrest. Now, every picture I looked at during this time in during Martha Stewart's trial, she was smiling. I thought she was sneaky. I was like, why is she smiling so much? I didn't believe her, I didn't trust her. But now that I'm talking about great comebacks and I saw what she did 5 years later, I know why she was smiling. Just 5 years later, with 600 employees behind her, stronger than ever, that woman added 7,000 new products to her name. She also finished her 71st book. She created 4 new magazines, and she had 4 shows on the Hallmark Channel. So I know that she knew that that time would pass, and she would be on top. I know that she knew while she was in prison and while she was on house arrest, she never stopped creating. I know that she planned her comeback, and I know why that smile was on her face, because she said, watch me do this. I know it. Last but not least, I want to talk about a company that we all may have at some point patroned, Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines, I don't know if you know, they started out as a crop dusting airline, dusting crops. They soon developed their business into a legitimate airline, one of the best in our country. Delta was doing really, really good. In the mid-2000s, Delta found themselves in trouble. Due to high fuel costs and economical airlines like Southwest and JetBlue, they were squeezed out of the market. Delta had to file for bankruptcy. They had to land each and every plane. The leaders of that company refused to let that be their story. They said no. So what they did is they took a different look at their business. They planned, they found a turnaround, and they got ready for their comeback. They did many, many things, but there's 2 things that they did that contributed to their comeback. First thing, they renegotiated their union contract. The second thing, which was genius, they bought used aircrafts instead of costly new ones. They redesigned, they redeveloped, they trained their staff. They let them know that this was not it, and they're coming back. 2013, Delta took flight. Over 120 million passengers flew with them that day, higher than any other airline. That's a comeback. That's a comeback. Although these people, businesses, and products I'm speaking about, you guys, are billion-dollar ideas, the fundamentals are still the same. They apply to all of us. No matter what that failure is, that setback, that moment that just has us to stop in our feet is, there's always an opportunity to take another look at your situation. I think about these people and I think about these products and these businesses, and I wonder, what did they have? They all had one common thread. They had a vision, or three things. But the common thread was they had a vision and they had the will to not give in. This is very important. I'm going to talk about 3 things that you need to take a setback and get ready for your comeback. I don't care what area of your life it is. I don't care what you failed. I don't care what you need to try again. I don't care what it is in your heart that is saying, just maybe, or I think I could, or you know what, I could do that better. A comeback always starts with change. Change is the first thing. You have to change your mindset. And what I mean by change your mindset is you have to look at what you're going through differently. You have to take a different perspective. When you do that, new ideas start to fall through. Things you never thought about. You no longer have a limiting mindset. You open up your world to any possibility. Now, instead of having one idea in one direction, you got 10 possibilities. Secondly, you got to change your attitude. The secret about a changed attitude is it represents a changed heart, right? When you change your heart, the way you approach every single thing in your life will change because your heart is different. Attitude is just a word that we use, but it's really your heart, y'all. Last but not least, and this is crucial, commitment. You have to change your commitment and your approach to whatever you want in life. If you change your commitment, this changes your future. So what I'm saying is, that relationship you need to revisit with a loved one or family member, if you look at it different, if you change your mindset in dealing with them, if you change your heart and your approach, and you're committed to make it work and give that love, then no matter what they give back to you, it won't even matter. You see what I'm saying? That job that told you no, just keep preparing, keep planning. That idea that people told you was crazy, don't say anything, just show them. Show them. Do what Martha Stewart did and laugh all the way to the bank. I'm telling you, she's working with Snoop Doggy Dogg now. Never would imagine that. Listen to what I'm saying, you guys. I understand failures and setbacks leave us broken, disappointed, and hurt. But this is a natural response to human heartbreak. Your heart's just broken. One thing I need us all to understand as women and gentlemen is that we always have two things. We are resilient, and we always have another day to do it again, to try again, to think differently, and just put one foot in front of the other. No matter what you failed at, no matter what relationship is not working, no matter what job you didn't get, no matter what path your life is taking you on and you don't understand it because it's not what you chose for yourself, understand that as long as you have breath in your body, it's not over. It is not over. The biggest thing I had to learn is the prize is never greater than the journey, right? So it's never going to be greater because you'll always be looking for something else. And the second thing that I learned is that no really is a yes. It's just a different way to look at it. If you change that mindset, you can take that no and make yourself a billionaire. For instance, Netflix. Netflix, when they were ready to sell, they offered Blockbuster $50 million to buy them. They were laughed out of their meeting. Laughed. You're kidding. Netflix is worth over $60 billion today. Facebook. Who all has a Facebook page? Right? Facebook, when they were ready to sell, their initial offer was laughed at them and rejected by MySpace. Now they're worth over $400 billion. Google. When Google was ready to sell, their price tag was $750,000. Not even $1 million. They are now worth, after somebody said no to them, an executive, they're now worth over $600 billion. This is all after no. That idea that you have or had, that job that you didn't get, that proposal that was canned, that tapping at your heart of something that reminds you every day is something that you're great at, I challenge you to do it again. Thank you.